Hi, my name is Tony, and today I'm going to show you how to make the garlic herb roasted vegetables from foodsharingvegan.com. We're going to take 2 pounds of baby potatoes, and using a fork, I'm going to puncture holes throughout all of them. I'm using this one from Melissa's. I got it at Walmart. It has 3 varieties of potatoes, but you can use any kind that you want as long as they're really small, or if you're not going to use baby potatoes, then you can use regular potatoes and chop them up into smaller pieces. Make sure you wash your potatoes before starting, and then using your fork, puncture all around. Make sure you don't accidentally get your finger though. This is what it should look like, and I can't remember if I mentioned this, but we're doing this to all 2 pounds. And if you have a bigger one like this, I'm going to puncture it still and then chop it in half because it's a little bit bigger than the rest of my potatoes and I want them to be close enough in size. So I'm just going to cut it in half. Then to a large bowl, I'm sorry I'm not using my usual clear bowl so that you can see, but I don't have a bowl big enough besides this one. Add all of your punctured potatoes into a large bowl. If you don't have a large bowl, sometimes what I'll do is use a stock pot and it works just the same. I noticed that I missed a few of these big purple potatoes that seem to be larger than all the other potatoes. And I'm not sure if you've ever had the nibbles. I know I've seen them at Sprouts, but they're really tiny potatoes and they're usually in ball shape, and those are perfect for this dish. Next, I'm gonna add in 1 pound of halved Brussels sprouts. Again, make sure you wash them before. If your Brussels sprouts are looking a little bit ugly on the outside, you can peel off that first layer and still use the rest. Add them to the big bowl. Next, we're gonna use 1 pound of sweet potatoes. I have already chopped them up and I'm gonna add those directly in there. You can peel or not peel. I peeled them for the sake of this video. I know a lot of people really prefer having peeled potatoes, but if you wash it really good, a lot of the nutrients can be found in the peeling. So I usually leave the peelings on. Also, it's one less thing to do. Add those to your big bowl. And what's great about this recipe is I'm adding a lot in here and it's gonna make a big batch, perfect for meal prepping, perfect for holidays like Thanksgiving or Christmas. But you don't need to. You can also have the recipe. You can also omit or swap out ingredients based on what you have or what your preferences are. Add in 1 carrot that's been sliced. You can use red or you can use yellow. I'm using yellow today, but if I weren't using purple potatoes and I was just using another variety, I would put the red in there for more color. 3 sliced carrots. Then I'm gonna add in 4 garlic cloves that have been sliced. If you really love garlic, feel free to add 2 more cloves, 4 more cloves, the whole head of garlic. All of it will be delicious. This is 8 ounces of button mushrooms that have been sliced in half, washed of course. See, I'm glad I used my big bowl. This is my biggest bowl and it's gonna be really fun stirring. Now I'm gonna add in 3 tablespoons of olive oil, along with a teaspoon of thyme, a teaspoon of garlic salt, and I'm gonna add a little bit more because we like garlic salt. And by we, I mean I like garlic salt. My husband, not so big on salt. Then I'm gonna use some of the rosemary. It was so fun because I planted a rosemary bush and so I got to chop some of this. It's about a teaspoon minced. And then add in a little bit of pepper and mix it all up. As I'm mixing something like this with a lot in the bowl and heavy ingredients, I take my spoon and from one side I go all the way down and then I lift it up and I continuously do that, turning the bowl. And that way everything is getting mixed up even at the bottom. We want to make sure that all of the vegetables are covered in that olive oil and herb mixture. It's so beautiful. I love all the colors. We make this around Christmas and Thanksgiving, but it is year-round one of the most popular recipes on Food Sharing Vegan, so I thought I would share it now. Now I'm going to add as much as I can of this into my 9 by 13 baking dish, and I might need 2. As you can see, it's really beautiful. I'm going to fill it to the top. Some of these vegetables will shrink in size a bit, so it's okay that it's going to the top. And any that I have left over, I will add to a smaller baking dish. Now I'm going to add on some aluminum foil and make sure it's covered on there tightly. Now I'm going to bake it for 30 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, about 204 degrees Celsius. Then I'm going to remove the foil, give it a stir, and put it back in there for 30 more minutes. The vegetables look really good. I must admit though that I went and ran some errands while I let the vegetables cool on the stove, and when I came back I could tell that some of them were missing. So I know for sure my dad, who was visiting, nibbled on some, and then my husband, when he came home from work, he also had a few pieces of potatoes and Brussels sprouts. So you can see there are now holes of missing vegetables, and I apologize for that. At the end of my videos, I usually plate everything and show it to you, but if I were serving this at a dinner party or at dinner for our friends, I would just serve it like this. It looks really, really beautiful. As I mentioned, you could do a lot with this dish. You can substitute any vegetables. I like adding some butternut squash cubes, would also be delicious in this. If you want to give it a try, I have the printable recipe down below. And if you do, please let me know what you think in the comments. I really love hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye!